I'm thrilled to introduce the moderator for the session, who is going to start by sharing his ideas on how to grow a Rotary Club like a business. Alex Johnson is a business coach in Plano, Texas, and a second-year president of the Plano West Rotary Club in District 5810, Dallas, Texas Metro. Johnson coaches entrepreneurs by helping with accountability and organization to scale their business and have more free time. He enjoys applying his business skills to increase Rotary engagement and service as the new Zone 25B Innovative Club Advocate appointed by Rotary International Board of Directors. Johnson is the recipient of many Rotary awards, including Outstanding Club President, Member Recruitment, Rotarian of the Year, and Club of the Year, Rotary Citation, and #1 Club in District per capita annual fund giving. Plano West Rotary is the fastest growing club in North America. It tripled its membership to majority women, people of color, and under 50 through relentless community service. Alex will share the way that clubs can achieve diversity, equity, and inclusion using the Rotary Action Plan as their roadmap. Alex, we're so happy you're here today. Welcome.
And hello, fellow Rotarians and Rotaractors. I'm excited to speak to people from all around the world. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and hello. February 23rd was Rotary's 117th birthday. I'm sure a lot of people know that. This is my 19th year in Rotary. And I love Rotary today more than I did 19 years ago. I can't see you, but you can see me. I want everybody to say at their computer, I love Rotary. On a 1, 2, 3, I love Rotary. I'm sure we've got lots of people saying it. Now, what I want you to do is type it in chat. I want you to type in chat, I love Rotary. We should see hundreds of them. Awesome. Come on, people, start typing that. Type fast. Perfect, perfect. Now, if you're a club leader, I want you to type in, because we're going to see your name automatically, type in your club in your title in chat. I want to see how many club leaders we have on here. Start typing in, folks. We got the I Love Rotary. I'm seeing a bunch of titles. Fantastic. President, president-elects, VPs, great. Well, you are the real leaders of Rotary. Rotary begins and ends with the Rotary clubs. So you are the ones that are going to make a difference. And you're also the ones that make the big bucks. Not, at least not in my club. So I want everybody else to type in chat appreciation for these club leaders, because we know they're the ones that are making it happen. So let's talk about how we love our club leaders. Put that in chat. We have a little interactivity here. All right. Thank you very much. And keep on using chat, everybody. You got to keep you awake or make sure you're prepared for your day. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about mindset. Everybody keeps on saying that Rotary needs to change, right? That's a mindset change. But why do we need to change? You know, what's wrong with the Rotary that I joined 19 years ago? You know, we had things called perfect attendance, of which I've had 19 years perfect attendance, classification restrictions, fines, singing, you know, only the elite could join. Aren't those the glory days of Rotary? No, because those aren't really inclusive. And inclusivity is what's going to create Rotary's future. Now, a lot of people say it's not fair that we have to change. Why should we? Shouldn't these new members adopt our Rotary traditions? Shouldn't they? Well, the problem is, if we want these new members to join, instead of making them adopt our Rotary traditions, we have to become inclusive for them. So when they walk in our meetings, they feel like they belong. Now, we know we need to change, but a lot of times we don't want to, or we don't know how to change. So I'm going to tell you a journey about Plano West Rotary. We were in the same boat a lot of Rotary clubs. You know, when I started my first year as presidency, as you can see on the chart, we were what you would say a typical Rotary club, 21 members, majority men, median age of 67, myself and a Pakistani friend, we were the only minorities. Well, after a year, we tripled our membership from 21 to 63. That was during COVID. We transformed into a majority women club. Now we're 58% women. More than half our members are under 40, under 50. Actually, our median age is 45 right now. And the majority of our members are non-white. We actually have members that are immigrants from 9 different countries. Our club is like a United Nations. We didn't look like that 2 years ago. But you know how we did it? We did it through completing 75 service projects. Now, we weren't a new club. We're a 41-year-old club. So we had a lot of traditions, a lot of things that we needed to change. But Plano West Rotary grew through relentless community service. Well, when I went to my first PETS as president-elect, my club was on the verge of being terminated or merged with another club. We're at 21 members. We were often said, because we have 6 clubs in our community of Plano, which is a suburb of Dallas. So we were asked to merge. So I knew we needed to do something different. A lot of our members, they were serving second terms as president. We had the same core people doing all the work. You ever heard of the Pareto principle, 80-20 rule? When you have 20 people in your club, 20% is 4 people basically running the club. Does that sound familiar? Well, we needed to change. Now, I had a lot of people giving me advice. They were telling me, this is what you need to do, Alex. You need to recruit more minorities like you. Get more young people like you. I was like 52 at the time, young. Get more women. Everybody had all this advice. We're behind you all the way, but they weren't beside me. So I had to come up with a plan because it was a do or die situation. As a business coach, what I do is I focus on the mission of my client's company. And so the Rotary mission, which is all of our mission, is we provide service to others. It's very clear what we do. We promote integrity and we advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace through our fellowship of business, professional, and community leaders. So knowing our mission, provide service to others, we needed to focus on that. So what I had to do is think of our Rotary Club as a business. John Huco, our General Secretary and CEO of Rotary International, he says Rotarians need to treat their clubs like a business. So that's what we did. If we're a business, what is our product? It says in our mission, provide service to others. So our product is community service. Who are our clients? Our clients are our community, our people around us. That's others. And so we needed to develop a company that's providing community service opportunities to our community because the community is our customer. So there's 3 things that we did to become the fastest growing Rotary Club in North America. And this is something every Rotary Club can do. It's actually the first line in our mission statement, provide service to others. But the 3 things we did in order: 1, treat your club like a business. 2, ramp up your sales and marketing. No business is going to do well without sales and marketing. For Rotary, it's called public image. 3, improve your product. Well, your product is community service. So let's talk about the first thing. First thing we did was treat our club like a business. Now, this diagram, this is something I use with my business clients, and I adapted it to a Rotary Club. You could take a picture of it or take a screenshot. And so you'll see how an airplane matches up to a Rotary Club in a business. And the goal is to soar. So a good analogy is, think about a gym. A gym is doing what? What are they selling? They're selling physical fitness. And who is their customer? Their customer is the community. So a gym creates opportunities for the community to exercise. Now, let's think about that with a Rotary Club. What's our product? Like our mission statement said, service to others. And the foundation support. You know why the foundation is included in that? Through the Rotary Foundation, we fund bigger and better and more service projects. So they're one and the same. So if our product is community service and the foundation, who is the customer? The community. So a Rotary Club creates opportunities for the community to serve. First thing. The second thing is we're going to ramp up our public image. Without sales and marketing, no company is going to have their products recognized. Well, that's what public image is for a Rotary Club. We need to bring the public into our club to know about what we're doing. We're selling our product, which is service and foundation report. So here's an example of our website. You can look it up, planowestrotary.com. If you notice, what is it saying? Serve your community. We're looking for people who want to serve their community. And if you go through the website, our call to action is service projects. Now, what's more important is this is one aspect of our public image campaign. Our website, which we, by the way, we get 600 hits per month on it. Those are people looking for service projects. We also talk about recruiting people to our service projects in our weekly meetings. We have a member-only weekly meeting member-only newsletter. It's talking about our service projects. We also have a monthly newsletter that goes out to over 800 volunteers, and all it talks about is our upcoming service projects. And then we have our club members personally recruiting friends, family, and neighbors to participate in our service projects. That's our goal. We want people to volunteer in our service projects. And we thoroughly use social media. So you're thinking, how do you use social media? Well, it's simple. We talk about volunteering in our service project. We give them a link to click so they can sign up. We use Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We are talking about service projects coming up and asking people to volunteer. We also extensively use SEO, search engine optimization. That is so we get great Google results. What's our goal? To get people to come to our website, to sign up for our service projects. That was number 2. The third thing we do, any company, you have to enhance your product set. That is service. So the product for our Rotary company is done through creating a factory of nonstop community service projects. We currently complete 6 service projects a month right now. We did that last year. We're doing it this year. Some of those examples are we're volunteering at food pantries, doing litter cleanup. Anybody could do this. Put together hygiene kits for those in need, collecting peanut butter for those with food deficiencies, volunteering at homeless shelters. And a lot of people ask, well, how do you know what to do? You know, the easiest thing, go to a nonprofit and say, how can we help you? Not write a check, because the only nonprofit we should be writing checks to is the Rotary Foundation, our nonprofit, but ask them, how can we help you? How can we partner with you to serve our community? And they will tell you how. So I want you here, everybody in this audience, to think about a service project that you can lead your club to complete by the end of this Rotary year. That's 2 months. Make it small, fun, impactful. I always say, if you got to form a committee, it's probably too complicated. It doesn't need to be that big, and you don't need a huge project. It's not about going big, it's about changing lives. So let's get some audience participation going here. I'd like to have everybody in this webinar to type in chat a service project that your club could do to help your community in the next 30 days. We should come up with some great ideas from all around the world. I'm not talking about signature projects. Remember, no committees. And honestly, if signature projects worked, we wouldn't be in a membership decline, would we? So let's see some more projects in there. Let's think of something small, fun, and impactful. I often hear club leaders say, my club won't buy into this. Well, I have news for you. Your club doesn't have to. You only need one Rotarian or Rotaractor present for it to be a Rotary project. You know who you want to get buy-in from? Your community, because that's who you want as volunteers and those in need or who you're helping. Keep on putting those ideas in. This is awesome. Now, I want you to give your customers, the community, an opportunity to volunteer with you. Make your club inclusive, make your projects inclusive. All you have to do is invite your friends, family, and community. They're the ones that you want to join your club, right? So bring them in. Don't invite them to a meeting, invite them to a service project. That excites people. Keep on typing them in chat. All right, so to round it up, let's think about it. Rotary International, $140 million nonprofit. It treats itself like a business. That's what our CEO says. Plano West Rotary treats itself like a business. Imagine what impactful things your club could do if you treated yourself like a business. put out a great product, use your public image to let the community know, become inclusive to that community so they can be a part of you. Because a great Rotary Club offers service projects your community wants to volunteer on. Our club motto, you'll see it on our website: serve with us, fellowship with us, join us. Now, I'm excited to continue this conversation with two amazing Rotarians who are here with us today. I'm going to ask Carmen and Ishwar to introduce themselves and share with us why they think it's critical for Rotary to increase our ability to adapt. Carmen?
Hola, hello everybody. What a pleasure to be with so many Rotarians and Rotaractors from around the world. I am Carmen from Honduras, Zone 25A. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Alex. Hi, everyone. My name is Ishwar, and I'm a member of the Rotaract Club of Subiaco and the Rotary Club of Elizabeth Quay in District 9455 in Western Australia, and the Rotary International Membership Committee as well. It's a pleasure for me to be with you here today. I think a key thing when it comes to adapting and being ready to adapt is that it helps to keep us as Rotary relevant in our communities, as Alex has mentioned in his talk today, more accessible to those who aren't yet a part but may yet wish to be.
Thank you both of you for being here. So, Carmen, what's a common challenge you have seen as it relates to the topic of adapting or adaptation?
Thanks, Alex. I think the biggest problem that we had was due to COVID, and it was to keep all the members connected. We could not see each other, but we had to adapt different ways to keep ourselves connected. Some of us had used Zoom, but not as intense as we have done now. But the majority have never used it before. So it was a big challenge. Talking about young Rotarians and Rotaractors, this was easy. But for older members, it was something totally new. We have a 100-year-old Rotarian. Could you imagine him trying to connect through Zoom? So what did we do? The club members went to his house and taught the helping hands, the lady who took care of him, how to connect him and how he could be part of the meetings, weekly meetings that the club had virtually. That's keeping ourselves connected. This also reminds me, speaking with a young Rotarian who was a member of a club where median age was over 60, he was telling him that when they did social encountering, social fellowship meetings, they would go with their family, with their kids, newborns, or really small children. It was hard for these Rotarians where they were not used to having kids that are around home anymore. So he said that they got it and talked and they sat together and they said, let's see, we're just starting our business, starting our families. So if you want us to be part of this Rotary Club and be connected with all the members, you have to accept us with our kids coming through these kinds of activities. So it is that we have to be patient with you as older members, and you elder members have to be tolerant with us. Definitely, it is a game of give and take.
Yes. Ishwar, let's hear from you.
When I joined my club, it was a fairly traditional one. We had regular business meetings, a standard board structure, a signature project, and some smaller activities that we do on the side. The only thing we really didn't do was have a sit-down meal. We had 20 members, but it didn't look like we were going to grow much past that. And like Alex mentioned, 80% of the work was being handled by just 20% of the members. The issue was clear to us. This model of Rotary that we had, the only one that we could really see in all of the clubs that were around us, was consuming our members' energy, but it wasn't providing value back to them or to the community. So we needed to adapt that model to better suit our members, But where would we go when other options that we could see didn't suit? That solution that our club produced and the results are what I'll be discussing in this webinar.
Thank you to both of you. Your challenges should resonate with the club leaders who are on this webinar. So you outlined a challenge. Now, what made you decide to take action? I ask because sometimes we decide not to take action to change. Change is hard and it can be scary. And sometimes we think it's easier to live with the problem than adapt. So what brought you to the point where you realized adapting was necessary? Ishwar?
We were a relatively new club, and our members in general were younger, and yet we were burning out our leadership potentials faster than we could bring in new members to replace them. Not all that much different from many of the other clubs around us. The club leadership were responsible for running projects, for administering the club, providing pastoral care to the other members, and developing the next set of leaders to take on their roles. It just wasn't sustainable. And who would want to step up and take on these roles knowing that they had to do all of that when all they could see is that the current leaders were leaving the club as they burnt out? This isn't what we had envisioned for our Rotary experience. We wanted an experience where we could see the impact that we were delivering, one that was flexible to our changing lives, and where the energy that we expended really helped to generate more energy amongst our members and the community. Our choice was to continue with the old model, seeing tired faces at meetings, or to change to a different model and see if that would help raise the energy in the room.
Wow. Carmen, what made you realize that you had to take action?
The world, or as someone put in the chat, life is constantly changing. We have to change in order to keep active, and we have to be connected. It's not easy to get out of the box. It's easy to be in that comfort zone, and we don't want to leave it. But if we want different results, we definitely have to do different things. What we all thought was going to last for maybe some months has gone through years. So we needed to connect some way. If not, we would lose even more members. As someone also wrote in the chat, we have to worry about retention. At the beginning, it was just a social Zoom meeting, just to see each other, just to see if everyone was doing healthy, if anyone needed something from us, but just to have that meeting that we could connect and we could talk and we could see each other, and that let's try, it's gonna be back to normal, but for in the meantime, let's do this. So then we tried doing the weekly meetings, complying with all the regular Rotary protocol. We had speakers inviting. At the beginning, everyone was excited. It was something different. So they will join, they will connect, and they would see the opportunity of having these other speakers, maybe from around the world, that would join the meeting because it was through Zoom. But then the people started to get tired as well. So we had to do something different. And this was the time to do some kind of hands-on projects. So we decided, let's go outside. Let's do a cleanup activity. I saw many of you suggesting clean up rivers, clean up the forest, clean up, and that keeps us the social distancing and also keeps us with all the hygiene that we need to maintain during this pandemic. So the social distance was respected, but we were connecting and we were working together.
Wow, it's pretty exciting to hear about the action both of you took. Now let's talk about, tell us how you adapted and what the results were. So Carmen, tell us.
As of today, many clubs here in this part of the world are still meeting virtually. Little by little, we are going back to in-person meetings. I think COVID forced us all to think back, to be grateful for our own lives, to realize how vulnerable we are. I am sure many of us in this meeting today have lost relatives, friends, Rotarians because of COVID. So at the end, it makes us accept we have to adapt to different situations. As Rotary Zone Coordinator, we are doing one webinar per month. It used to be that every single coordination, and it's 5 of them, would do their own webinar. So that was way too much. People do not want to be in the computer forever and ever. So we said, let's go down to 12 webinars during the year. And we are gonna all promote it and work as a team. So what does that brings us? A full house attendance. People are expecting, so who's gonna be in this webinar this month? I definitely want to see it, and I definitely want to be part of it. We always learn from Rotary. We have that big advantage that every time we join a webinar, we take a course in the Learning Center, we are always learning. So at the beginning of this webinars, we have the open microphones and they just greet and chat and they are saying, I'm from, just like what happened today when we met that they were writing on the chat box where they are from. So it's so interesting to see that internationally that Rotary connects us worldwide.
Wow, yes. Ishwar, I'm excited to hear about how you adapted and what your results were too.
So to find an alternative club model, we had to look outside of Rotary, and we ended up looking at the corporate world. The first thing we did was we broke down the activities of the club into revenue and cost centers and determined those that actually generated the greatest value for the club and for our community. Those were service projects and the club community. Secondly, to try and make a dent in the 80-20 problem, we took a membership-first approach, generating buy-in for the club's activities by having them be initiated and driven by the members rather than by the board. The third and final pillar was to form small groups within the club called squads, each of them led by a board member. These squads would be the vehicle for delivering pastoral care to the members, helping induct new members, and providing an avenue for more experienced members to share their wisdom. As a result, we saw an increase in engagement across the board, with membership more than doubling in a year from 20 to 50, and more new members requesting to join the club directly, having never been to an event, having only heard about us or seen us on social media, than those that were joining through invitation from members. And we're continuing to adapt this model as we get feedback from the members, as we go through and just see how things are working. A major change that we're actually making this year is a transition from the squads being dispersed, so that we're trying to bring together members from around everywhere that people live, to having squads based on where people live, so that it's easier for them to get together and meet more frequently.
Amazing results from both of you. I hope Rotarians and Rotaractors on this call, on this webinar, are paying attention. All right, we've already acknowledged that change can be hard. So tell us about some of the resistance you encountered along the way, Ishwar.
The model that our club adopted was very different from the model that we had before. It wasn't an incremental change, it was a paradigm shift. But that model needed to have approval from our existing board. And as Carmen mentioned, they were all comfortable with the current model, even if they weren't comfortable with the outcomes that it was generating. So getting the board to understand the limitations of the model and the opportunities that this new way of working could provide was a big hurdle for us to cross. And it had to be done quickly. With lockdowns and movement restrictions that were imposed by COVID, it was really easy to lose momentum and energy from the club members in wanting to adopt this change. If we lost that, then the model would fail and we would probably find ourselves back in the same place we were before.
Carmen, what resistance did you face in the challenge of making some of these changes?
Well, Alex, the biggest resistance is that many members do not like virtual meetings. They feel they are not really attending a Rotary meeting, especially the eldest members in our Rotary clubs, that we have many worldwide. We miss getting together, We miss the hugs, the shaking hands, the connections. So lots of effort has to be put in trying to keep all the members, and especially hoping that sometime soon we will come back to normality. But talking about costs, the club dues, in the majority, the amount was decreased. We did not have to pay for a weekly meal. So I think we have to live and think of the positive side of everything that we live every single day in our lives.
Agreed. I think a lot of people can relate to those roadblocks, Carmen. So tell us about how you addressed the resistance, how you brought people along this journey to adopt.
Social media has definitely helped us. It is a great way to keep ourselves connected. Some clubs in the zone have been able to get many members by constantly posting activities. I just saw in the chat box of a club that went from 9 members to 33. Wonder if they use social media, because it's a great tool that we have there available. Where that is possible, then people can join, and people that many countries are open now, so they can bring these members and they attracting members. It's not hard. So we can use that. Here in Honduras, we have a WhatsApp group. It is an excellent way to keep us all informed of what any club in our country is doing. When a global grant is approved, the president or the Rotary Foundation committee, someone posts this and says, we just got it approved, it's such and such amount, and it's gonna be for whatever the project is gonna be held. So that he keeps us, if other clubs are not doing much, they at least feel, wow, someone else in our country is benefiting our people through a global grant that was just recently approved. So it is a way to keep all the Rotarians active in our country. We can see people serving and changing lives. There is a district in Mexico that started this year, July 1st, with 1,115 members. As of today, they have 1,272 members. I have been invited to their Zoom chartering meeting, a totally different thing, because we meet through Zoom. They have it in different clubs, so they are all connected, and they are chartered into the different clubs. So we welcome them to our wonderful family through Zoom.
And Ishwar, how did you develop buy-in to the idea of the new club model?
Firstly, we had to get board approval. And the way that we did that was to really highlight those pain points of the current model: low engagement, high burnout, and reduced community impact. The board really had to feel the pain of those limitations to understand the need for that collective action. Having better appreciated those, an alternative model was offered, the model that we're currently operating under. And once it was approved, we really needed to educate everyone, not only the board members, but the general members as well. And we needed to generate energy amongst the membership, because we needed that to make sure that we would see the change all the way through, so that we could actually see what the outcomes could be. This was done by introducing the members to the model through a professional development session. And we didn't just invite the members, we invited people from the public as well, because that way we could talk about the model and not focus too much just on how is this going to change the look and feel of the club. We generated energy and buy-in, and then implemented that model in stages, starting with those parts that the members would really engage with the most. One of those was having quarterly agile planning sessions to help develop short, sharp projects, most of them no longer than 2 or 3 months, that had direct community impact, so that the members could really see the difference that they were making in the community. And the second was bringing together the squads to help the members build a greater sense of club community, especially when we were in a situation where it was difficult to get together in person. Throughout this implementation, the changes, those drastic changes that COVID imposed, actually helped us. The external environment was changing and changing constantly. So to make these changes inside the club during this time made sense within that environment as a response to what was happening outside. And that actually made it easier for our members to accept these changes that we were seeing within the club that might have been more difficult without COVID outside. And the outcome of this approach, we kept almost every existing member that we had within the club. We only lost 2, and then went on to double our membership over the rest of the year.
Wow. It seems both of you got people involved through engagement. That makes a lot of sense. Well, now there are many people on this webinar right now who might want to adapt, but aren't sure where to begin. So we're going to talk about one piece of advice that you have for these folks. Ishwar, you start.
The first step for my club was to recognize and, more importantly, appreciate the limitations that our current club model had in terms of delivering the member experience and the community impact that we wanted. Only then could we come together to drive the change that we needed. For our club, this change was a paradigm shift, but it doesn't need to be for yours. But something needs to change, like Carmen said before, so that we can see a different future.
So Carmen, what are your words of advice?
I think communication is extremely important. All changes should be socialized, given the opportunity to the members to speak up, to give their input and feedback. That way, the majority will approve it, and we will have, as we say here, all of us pushing the cart in the same direction. Also, when we see our leaders working together as a team, for example, the past district governor, the governor-elect, and the district governor working and sitting down and talking about where they see the district in 5 years, probably with the strategic planning, then that goes down to the clubs as well. And we can keep rolling that wheel and working together. As a staff member told us once, teamwork makes a dream work. And if we communicate with each other, I'm sure we will do it. And we will have, as I dream or imagine, who are, as President-elect says, an even better Rotary International.
Excellent words of wisdom from both of you. Okay, now we're going to turn to our attendee questions, and we have a lot of them. Some that were submitted in advance, and then some have come in during the webinar. So you can use the chat function to submit your questions right now.
What a great conversation. Thank you all so much. The first question is for Ishwar. How do we make this idea of change exciting rather than scary?
We are more afraid to lose things than we are comfortable, that we're comfortable with, than we are excited to gain something that might be valuable. And I think to make change that's something exciting rather than scary, we need to do 3 things. 1, focus on what's being gained and the value that's going to add. 2, adjust your pace of change to what's comfortable for the members. And 3, communicate before the change, during the change, and after the change.
Thank you so much, Ishwar. Carmen, this next one is for you. So you've talked a lot about COVID and the challenges that we've all faced, but in Honduras in particular. So do we look at strengthening the clubs or looking for more members post-COVID? Where should we put our energy?
If we go into the Rotary page right now and we upload a new member, we will see it under 11 million people that have gone through Rotary International. So my dear friends, bringing people in is not hard. The biggest challenge we have is keeping those members. Someone wrote there, we should not worry about numbers, and we shouldn't. We should make it a consequence. Why a consequence? If we have good projects, if we have good public image, people will want to join us. If we have the story of what is it that passionate so much about Rotary. Some people tell me, you talk about Rotary with so much passion, and you know what? It comes from my heart. I do not have to go in a theater or I'm not acting it. I really feel it. I feel it's a wonderful organization. So let's worry about keeping these people. We have a mentorship program that we want to, and we have seen success stories with that mentorship program. It's not coaching, it's not it's a companionship. It's a just talking over. We do not want to overwhelm anybody. We just want to talk. They are going to learn as a mentee, and we are going to learn as mentors, because there are some things that we won't know. And that will keep us also very active in Rotary and will want us to never leave Rotary.
Yes, amazing, Carmen. And this, I think, this next question, I'd like Alex to answer, but it's similar to the answer you just gave, Carmen, about involving people, which is, how do you quickly engage new members without overwhelming them?
I love that question. I actually get it a lot. And honestly, I think it's really important that we are inclusive to these new members. When they walk into this new organization, they may not know that many people. So we want to engage them. The way you don't overwhelm them is don't overwhelm them, but you want to make opportunities available to them. Let them know that leadership is available to them. Do they have passions? Let them know they have a Rotary Club that's going to help them pursue their passions of service, because that's probably why they joined your club. Maybe they have skill sets. So you have to ask these new members, how would they like to contribute? We actually have that in our membership application. We talk about the 5 avenues of service. In their application, they tell us which ones are interest to them. And we also talking about the areas of focus, and they tell us what they're interested. So when they join our club, we know their passions, and then we try to engage them. And if they're not ready, that's great. We're not going anywhere, but we're still going to ask them to hang out with us and have fun and serve our community.
Thank you, Alex. Carmen, I have another question for you, and it's really inspired by a comment in the chat from Tony that says, we need to be more externally focused. Look at our efforts from the outside Rotary and stop talking to ourselves. So Carmen, you are one of the most passionate people that I know about Rotary. So I would love to know, how can we overcome our reluctance to speak to others about Rotary? What advice do you have?
Thanks, Tony, and thanks, Leanne, also for your comment. I think that if we start telling our own story, telling what project, what event, because it's like we have to see that there's people that love projects, others love the administrative part of it. So we have to find that special thing that attracts and the added value that Rotary has so much for young members, for older members, for Rotarians that are not as involved, and talk of it and talk with people outside, involve the community members. I love that once that we were at a project and we were benefiting this lady with a microcredit fund loan, and she comes to me and she says, you know, someday I would love to become a Rotarian. I just see why you do in the community that I really wish I can give back to my community. She was in a lot of need, but sometimes, many times you say, the one who gives is not the one who has the most, but the one who wants to give. So we have to talk it out and not be ashamed or afraid. We have to be so proud about this road that God put us in the lives and that we are going through and leaving a better world than what we found.
That is, thank you so much, Carmen. And Alex, I'd love for you to maybe talk a little bit, if you can, about the Rotary Community Corps that you started. Carmen sort of inspired me there, thinking about people that think they can't afford Rotary but want to be involved. And I think your club has done this amazing partnership with the Community Corps. Wondering if you can talk about that, maybe inspire some more members around the world to start those.
Definitely. And first, I'm going to give a shout out. I'm moderating the Rotary Community Corps breakout session at the International Convention, so attend. So I hope to see you there, and you'll hear a great panelist talk about that as well. But the Rotary Community Corps, somebody mentioned in chat about Friends of Rotary. That's what a Rotary Community Corps is. we partnered with a local community development organization that was serving an impoverished community. And we just said, we want to help you serve that community. And I said, there is a Rotary mechanism that we form a community corps, so that way we bring in the power of Rotary to help you. And the beauty of it is you don't have to join Rotary, because those that don't know, you can't be a member of an RCC and be a member of a Rotary Club. So we just embraced this community development organization, and all of us worked together to help this community that had a lot of need. And we used the power of Rotary through our social media, through our members, to attract more of the city to be involved. And so we would have like 30 volunteers every other week helping. And I got to tell you, 90% of those volunteers were not Rotarians, and we didn't need them to be. We just needed them to have a common mission with us. And then some of them did join. And so the idea of Friends of Rotary, RCCs hit that. And Friends of Rotary is everybody, if we're friendly, you know. And so it doesn't have to be a title, it has to be your community. And then you have the RCC concept, you have, and then as Carmen mentioned, we had people that lived in this community. They were so amazed and astounded about how we were helping them. They wanted to help the next week. So it didn't matter to us where you lived. We just wanted people to provide helping hands. So it's really exciting when you get your community involved in serving what everybody finds a common cause.
Thank you, Alex. Ishwar, I wonder if you can answer this next one. So what if everyone wants to suggest projects, but nobody wants to lead them?
So the thing that we found that worked for our club was to bring together the members, but also invite the public to come and join for agile planning sessions. And the ways that these would work is that we would use the agile method, which is often used for lots of small business type things. And we would essentially do a big brainstorm over the course of a morning. We would talk about Rotary, we would talk about all of the opportunities that were available through Rotary, but the projects themselves were just going to be whatever the members really wanted to engage with, whatever the people from the public that had joined us wanted to engage with. So we would drive and help support them in developing these projects out, taking a very simple seed of an idea and taking it all the way through to a plan. And by the time we would end that morning, we would then have 4 or 5 different potential projects, each of which could be done within 2 to 3 months. Wouldn't take too many people from the club to be able to deliver these projects, typically 3 or 4 members to help drive the project itself. And we would have members sign up then and there. We would have people from the public leave us their details and sign up then and there for those particular projects. I think when people can actually see that they're a part of that planning, that they can see the planning happening in front of them, they're more willing to get engaged and be involved. And so for us, that's what we found really worked well, is having these open agile planning sessions where we bring together a whole host of members to all plan different projects together. And we could all take a step back at the end and look at, you know, basically what was going to be our spread of events and projects that we would run for the next quarter.
Thank you so much, Ishwar. Okay, Alex, I love this question, hoping you can shed some light on it for us. How do we stay relevant and maintain the traditions that make Rotary unique?
I can feel for that. I've been a Rotary for 19 years. You know, this is the question I always ask everybody. What's important, the mission of Rotary or the traditions of Rotary? And most people feel the mission of Rotary is important. So I think that what we need to do is maintain the traditions that we can, but we need to be inclusive of the larger community that we are representing and who we want to be a part of. But the mission of Rotary is something everybody aligns with. So once again, like what I said in my presentation, focus on the mission, which is said, we provide service to others. When you do that, everybody comes in and then you can fit those traditions in. I guess our club is like 43 years now. Our club founder's still in our club. We maintain a lot of our traditions, but we had to change. I mean, we're a hybrid club now. You know? And so you keep the traditions you can, but if you remain focused on the mission, people will accepting of the change. But I think it's really important to stay focused on the mission so you remain relevant, because that's where the relevancy comes, is being focused on the mission and adapting with change.
Right, and I feel like our mission will never go out of style. It will always be relevant. Thank you so much, Alex. So before we wrap up, I want to take a minute to reinforce what we mean when we talk about adapting and increasing our ability to do this. So even before the pandemic, increasing our ability to adapt was one of the 4 pillars of Rotary's strategic plan. But we know living through a pandemic has given us all more opportunities to get better at it. Alex, Carmen, and Ishwar have given us many examples of how to do this, but essentially it means 3 things. It means building a culture of research, innovation, and willingness to take risks. That means from top down and across. It's baked into your club culture. Secondly, is to look at where you can streamline your governance, your structure, and your processes so that you aren't so weighed down in those things that you can't be agile. And third is to look at your governance to be able to foster more diverse perspectives in decision-making. This can be making room for more Rotaractors to serve in your club, to plan projects, to speak about their areas of expertise. But how do you get more voices involved in the decision-making? I want to show you a short video from some members in Lithuania who have harnessed the power of digital tools and concentrated effort to do all 3 of these things at one time. Through hosting hackathons, and she will explain what that word means in a second, participants have brainstormed solutions to some of the world's most pressing problems. So let's take a look here.
Hello, everyone. I am happy to share experience from Lithuania, how Rotary can learn innovation from hackathons. We have participated in 2 hackathons as a Rotary. The first one was called Hack the Crisis. It was aimed to find solutions to the COVID pandemic. And the second was focused to find solutions and to help Ukraine to fight for its freedom. What is a hackathon in general? Usually this is a weekend event where experts come together from different fields, and during a few days, they try to find solutions to different issues. The first hackathon took at the beginning of the pandemic and quarantine. One of the projects which was submitted for the teams was called helmet-based ventilation. I was personally involved with my sister in Rotary from Chicagoland Lithuanian Rotary Club in the United States. So after the hackathon, we received a lot of feedback from different experts, and our project has been featured on Rotary.org website. We have been connected and contacted with Rotarians from around the world and have facilitated the spread of this technology, aiming to save more lives from COVID. The second hackathon took place just a month ago, and I have represented our district, placing the challenge to the participating teams to find digital solutions, how to better coordinate disaster relief efforts. It was a very interesting experience that because of the digital technology, during experts, we even had mentors from Ukraine, despite of the shelling and bombing taking place at the homes. So one of the solutions which was developed is a website called heroyams.lt, where authorized representatives from different NGOs place specific needs of specific refugee families, and then anyone can go to this website, pick a need, and commit to resolve it. So this is a very efficient tool, not to duplicate our efforts, to save a lot of time and to save our resources. What we have learned, we are calling ourselves people of action. Digital tools enable to do that faster and better. And what I love to say, that decisions and actions are being taken at the speed of trust on the basis of common values for humanity. And one of the most recent examples is the global grant, which we are developing with Italian Rotarians and our own clubs in record time of just 30 hours and 34 minutes, including weekend. 12 clubs made a decision to join this project and also have made a transfers, so we have exceeded our first fundraising goal by 38%. And if you want to learn more from us, how to innovate and how to adapt and how to use digital technology, please join us. We are looking for more international partners. So the main advice is take action, innovate, and learn every day. Thank you for everything what you do.
Take action, innovate, and learn every day. That was just one example of many, but I do hope that what they're doing has inspired you. And also our entire webinar has inspired you to think about doing things differently. As we wrap up, I'd love for you to tell us in chat. Remember, I like this interactivity. Give us one action you will take as a result of this webinar. Start typing, folks. Invite community to be here. Simple goals. Play this recording at my next board meeting. Present to our club. Volunteer at a shelter on Friday morning. I will send a recording to our membership. There we go. Review the recording. I will share it to my board. Simple community projects. Walk the talk. Use social media effectively. Create simple goal and develop a project. Figure out what service project folks want to do. Figure out what service projects your community needs. Contact nonprofits for project what to do. That's powerful. Share core learners to club to discuss future ideas. Survey community for needs. Ask existing members about their passions. Diversify the membership and make alliances. This is awesome. These are great ideas. All right, keep on typing because we're going to store these chats. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank Leanne and our interpreters for putting this all together and keeping up with us. And I want to thank Ishwar and Carmen, who are just awesome panelists, awesome Rotarians. They have done great things in their region. And we hope all of you join us for the final webinar in the series, Increasing Our Impact, which is scheduled for June.